Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody is having a great Sunday, and thank you so much for joining me talking all things Masters of the Universe. Today on the channel, guys, we're going to be reviewing and this time fully unboxing the Wave 23 Cartoon Collection version of FAKER, the evil robot of Skeletor, the Filmation version of of FAKER. But first, we'll do a recap of the figure in the packaging. Once again, the beautiful artwork it comes with. Of course, we'll compare this version of FAKER to He-Man, of course, and the vintage version, the more classic legendary version of FAKER here, right? And have some fun. Now, if you are new to my channel or first time watching, hope you will hit that subscribe button. I hope you hit that like button, and thank you for doing that. Hit that notification bell when I upload new videos, and please share this video. Who has a passion and a love for collecting all things Masters of the Universe. Without further ado, let's take a look and unbox FAKER. All right, so here he is once again. Get the a little closer here. All right, of course. Oops. Of course, we have the 40th anniversary sticker for She-Ra. This is her 40th anniversary. We've got Chris Hordak, He-Man, and the Master Universe logo here. FAKER, the evil robot of Skeletor, right there. Of course, I've mentioned this, quite a few times, so I'll keep saying it. This is some beautiful artwork right here. The backdrop is beautiful. We got, the Horde bats. The Horde attacking Grayskull with the red and the flames and smoke. Right there, you got Grayskull, and there's FAKER, right out of the Filmation cartoon, right there. And this is gonna be a very interesting review because, for the most part, for the whole part, just for a few differences, this is basically your He-Man from the first wave of cartoon collection we've gotten before. We come to this power sword here. Now he does come with a secondary head sculpt as well. All right, got the cartoon collection as well. All right, and of course, we also will look at the comic as well. A brief skim of the comic, which you've seen before, with Catra. All right. Got the great glamour shot artwork right here. Right there. And this was the only... Now, the shaping staff was the episode where we saw the only time we did see FAKER in Filmation. And we also got another figure from the shaping staff in Cartoon Collection, which was Evil Lynn. She was also part of that episode. Right there. But gorgeous artwork right there of FAKER standing over top of He-Man right there. With Skeletor right there, looking good. Of course, you can swappable head. Of course, move to powerful positions as well. Of course, the cross-sell of the other figures in this line. And we did unbox Catra, and I'm happy to say that I do have Leech now, my second version of Leech. So tomorrow, on Monday, I will be unboxing Leech on the channel, so I hope you will join me for that. All right. So if you give me 1 second, guys, I'll get FAKER out of the packaging, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Just about ready. Oops, get my camera back around here. There we go. First off, this channel, I like to show this little diagram of all the proper parts that can be removed safely from the figure. That way you don't damage it by mistake. Right there. All the darkened out areas. All right. And where's the comic? Of course, the same comic we just looked at with Catra. The same comic is a part of the entire wave. But gorgeous artwork, great. Easter eggs for hopefully upcoming figures and vehicles, like the slime pit as well. All right, looking really good. All right. So really, really cool. Kind of interesting, with this comic here. I don't know exactly where FAKER is in this comic at all. This is FAKER right here. Interesting, but gorgeous artwork, okay? And here he is, right here, out of package. Here's FAKER. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting review here for the most part. And there are some slight differences between FAKER and He-Man from the cartoon collection. Obviously the eyes, are the big, draw between FAKER and He-Man here. as the major differences. The different head sculpts right there. I gotta say, the eyes look really good. Very cool, right there. Now the power sword is this exact same power sword we got with He-Man, right there. From the hand, right there. Alright. Let's go ahead and put He-Man and Faker together so we can see any differences here. Alright, between the two characters. Alright, go ahead and take the sword off. Alright, put his power sword here on here, guys. Sorry. There we go. Right there. So here's He-Man and Faker. Alright. Now for the get-go, for the most part, I'm seeing a couple differences here with these two characters here. Alright. Now, the one major difference, besides the eyes, of course, is that, of course, the camera's not showing it properly, but the armor with Faker, compared to He-Man's, He-Man's has a very, like, almost a metallic shine to it, somewhat. I don't know if that shows, on the camera there, but Faker does not. It does not have that. Well, no, it's this one. Faker to me has a much more duller gray than He-Man's. Okay, so that's one difference. And as you can see, the cross is different as well, color-wise and length. It's like this version of the Faker's cross here. It has a much darker red to it than He-Man's. Right, trying to back it up there. And also the cross itself. For some reason, Faker's is a little bit bigger. Back it up. It's more wider than He-Man's as well. All right. So there's another difference as well. Okay. All right. Moving right along. So basically, same sculpt body as He-Man's as well. Now the boots too are different. Faker's boots have a much fully solid tone to them. A very grayish. Sorry, not grayish. Brownish tone to it. All right. Where He-Man's, as you see, there's more detail in the boots right here for He-Man. Okay. Now the belt, the bracelets, the belt, are all the same. Even the body itself are just the same as well. All right. Now for fun, of course, Faker did come with a normal head sculpt, with this head sculpt here, with no. It's the same exact head sculpt with without the eyes being painted over with white. Now if you wanted to, you can probably pop off He-Man's head. I hope. And then pop this on, and you can have yourself a mirror match, like a mirror of He-Man and Skeletor, or He-Man and Faker fighting each other. If you wanted to do that, to give He-Man a more aggressive look from his normal his normal head sculpt. You can see. Also, you can tell. Also, another thing I've just noticed here is that Faker's hair has a much darker tone to it than He-Man's. He-Man's has a much more lighter look to it. I'm trying to get it the best way, guys. I'm sorry. But in hand, you'll notice a difference in the color of the hair between Faker and He-Man. Okay. Pop that back. I'll put He-Man's head sculpt back on there. All right. All right. But it's a fun character. And to me, this is the true version of Faker here, not the legendary version. No, I'm not. I'm saying the very first version of Faker that we've got in the cartoon collection or in He-Man in general. Not the legendary version of Faker. This is the first variant of Faker. And also, if you look at too, on the back of the holsters for the power sword of He-Man, you can see it's a much wider frame. And look at Faker's. Look at that. Look at the difference between the holsters, between Faker's holster and He-Man's. The hole is much smaller for Faker. All right, look at the back of them. All right, so very cool, very cool. All right, so there's more differences that I'm noticing now, which I do like. All right. But, you know, of course, I have to compare this version of Faker to his vintage Origins version right here. So there is the vintage version right there, the blue variant, the one we all known and love for over 40 plus years. And as you can see, and I get it now. I get it why the Filmation, you know, and the retail, you know, line, you know, had to change up the things for Faker, you know, because of the style. Because, you know, as a kid trying to buy these figures, you know, trying to get your parents or whoever to help you buy these figures, and if they bought this version right here of He-Man, and this version came out, you know, on the pegs, and you wanted this version, and you knew who this was, but trying to convince your folks or whoever, you know, to buy this figure, you know, would be kind of difficult because they would be telling you, well, you just got him, he's right here. So that's why they changed the whole, you know, the whole look of Faker for us collectors back in the day, with the blue skin, the orange type reddish hair, the, you know, the armor, the sword, and everything. So I get it now. But still, I'm so happy that we finally got a, like, to me, I keep saying a proper version of Faker, all right, in the line for Cartoon Collection. And it's worth you're getting the most out of your molds. You know, they already had most of the mold already for He-Man. All they do is a couple, you know, cosmetic, you know, changes to He-Man here from this version here slightly, you know, with a different mouth sculpt right here. But other than that, it's basically He-Man, you know. So they had most of the mold done. So all they had to do is a couple, you know, tweaks to it, and there you go. You have now Faker. Now with this version of Faker, I could not find any references from classics to Super 7. The closest thing I saw with Super 7, thanks to, you know, from the Pixel Dan Dark Horse comic book, is Robot He-Man, which is not Faker. But I could swear I thought there was a version of He-Man that came with multiple head sculpts that you could pop on. And one of those head sculpts had those glowing eyes, like Faker here. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. All right? But here's a question right here. Out of these two versions of Faker, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the Filmation, you know, the one start? Because without this version of Faker here, we would never have gotten this version. And this version of Faker was a one-off until the Revelation show came along. He only was on one episode, but he was so popular enough and so iconic that they had to create a version of him for toy form, which was this version. So without him, we would have never gotten him, in a way. You know? So out of these two versions of Faker, which Faker do you prefer? You know, to me, I still prefer. I mean, I love, like I said, this is the you know, the first version of Faker, you know, the one that started off, but this is the legendary Faker. To me, this is the you know, the Faker of, you know, that I like, you know, the vintage Faker. Though this still is a great version of Faker here. This one that started off and got us to, you know, for this version of Faker. So to me, the version of Faker I like, all right, is this version here. But this is still a great version right here. Very cool. And, you know, I'm happy to have it in my collection. But let me know in the comments below, which Faker do you prefer? Do you prefer his legendary, like his, you know, version of Faker? Or do you think the retail, or, sorry, the Cartoon Collection Filmation version is your Faker? All right? We're going to put He-Man on there as well. And of course, you know, I will probably do in the future, like I said with Catra, I will probably do another Masterverse versus Origins version with this version of Faker. Now, the one thing about that is that, unfortunately, because there is a Filmation, you know, like normal skin version of Faker in Masterverse, he was part of a deluxe set, part of Wave 1 when the line was first starting. There is a Faker like that. Oops. Of course, we're getting that. Speaking of Faker, I totally forgot. We're going to be getting that vintage collection version of Faker. And I cannot wait for that. But as far as this version of Faker, there was a normal skin, you know, variant of Faker in Masterverse. But unfortunately, I never found a second one to unbox. So when I do that versus comparison video, that Faker is going to be only in box only. All right. So that's going to be sometime down the road away, maybe a couple weeks from now, maybe a week or so. So it's not going to be happening like tomorrow, all right? But there you go, guys. There's a look at Faker from the Cartoon Collection right there. Very interesting. Very interesting. Also, do you think they should have included something else besides the power sword and a head sculpt with Faker? I don't know. I mean, the shaping staff was, the only episode he was a part of. You know, I don't know, because the shaping staff itself was a part of Evil Lynn's, figure, and so you can't do that twice, unfortunately. So very interesting, very interesting. A very cool, cool figure for what it is. I do see a lot of differences, slightly differences between Faker and He-Man here, from the armor to the look to the hair. The different shadings and color. So there is some differences between the two characters here, right? So I like that. All right, guys, I'd like to take time now, of course, to thank my subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. It's been a lot of fun. All right, of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell. We'll upload new videos. And tomorrow we'll be unboxing Leech from the final wave of Wave 23. All right, and a couple things. I did find and locate a couple figures in hand for Wave 24. I found on, of course, eBay right now, and I found on eBay the invisible Orco cloaked Skeletor. Hopefully, I'll have him very soon. I'm hoping, and I want to say Bumblebee, Buzz Off from that same wave. Unfortunately, I could not track down Frosta from that wave, so I'm hoping within very soon on the channel I will have those in my hand to at least do a review on. So I do hope you join me for that as well. All right. Of course, don't forget about, we'll see. But we'll at least unbox Leech tomorrow. All right. So I hope everybody has a great Sunday. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care and have a good one, everybody.